We need to make sure that the story is told properly so that when the history books write this, they don't write about the victims of Gaza, right? They can't, the history, and it's,
There you have former Secretary of State and former CIA Director Mike Pompeo at a specific Israeli event calling out the notion that history books would ever entertain the idea of sharing details about the people who have been slaughtered in Gaza. God forbid that happens. They're war crimes. We can't teach future generations about any of that. Now, if you're wondering, okay, well, does Mike Pompeo think there were any victims in the last two years? He does, actually. Let's take a look.
I should be a little more precise. There were victims in Gaza, right? It's true. There are civilian casualties in every war that's ever been fought. But the victims were the people of the nation state of Israel. The aggressor was the Iranian regime in the proxy of Hamas. And we need to make sure that the history books reflect that. And that requires each of us every day to talk about it in real time with our children, with our grandchildren, about it in a way that is serious and thoughtful and complete.
Oh, I'll be talking about it in a way that's serious and thoughtful and complete. It's just not the type of propaganda and revisionist history that Mike Pompeo is hoping for. Now, he made these rather disgusting statements while speaking to IDF combat veteran Benjamin Anthony, who also happens to be the CEO and founder of the Miriam Institute, which held the event that you see Pompeo speaking at. And yeah, the real victims are the Israelis here. I mean, they were certainly the victims on October 7th. There's no question about that. But promptly following October 7th, I would venture to say that the real victims were all the innocent people who were slaughtered in Gaza, of course, the West Bank, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen. I mean, they even bombed Tunisia at one point. Who knows how many people died there as a result of that? But I want to highlight some specific stories for you. Oh, would you look at that? Nice B-roll there. Those people that you see in the imagery right beside me, not victims, according to Mike Pompeo. A grotesque, disgusting excuse for a human being. But anyway, let's talk about some of the people that Pompeo does not consider to be victims, like the 11-year-old by the name of Amna Ashraf Al-Mufti, I should say, who apparently wasn't a victim when Israeli thugs carried out a drone strike and killed her as she was alone and fetching water for her family. If you don't remember that story, there was video of the incident. We're not going to show you the video. It's absolutely brutal. But you'll see some still frames of it. Euromed Monitor actually confirmed the video as proof of the Israeli military deliberately killing children in Gaza. Euromed Monitor's field team, they write, verified a video showing the Israeli army targeting a Palestinian girl as she tried to collect water in the courtyard of Kamal Adwan Hospital in northern Gaza. This crime is further damning evidence of Israel's deliberate killing of Palestinian children as part of a genocide. But don't worry, Mike Pompeo doesn't see them as victims, so they must not be victims. The Israelis are the victims. The Israelis had already wiped out much of her family prior to carrying out this drone strike. So the Israeli army killed Al-Mufti's mother and her 8-year-old brother on May 17th of 2025 as they tried to flee the area. They were struck by direct shelling while placing their belongings in the vehicle meant to evacuate them, in yet another crime reflecting the deliberate targeting of civilians, even during displacement. And again, according to Mike Pompeo, those people were not victims. No, the perpetual victims are always the Israelis. The IDF seemed to be having a fun time slaughtering innocent people, defenseless people, unarmed people. And so less than 2 hours later, Mohammed Abu Hajjaj was targeted in the same way while fetching water from the same hospital courtyard. Not a victim, though. So the death toll in Gaza has now reached 71,439. On top of that, you have over 171,000 people who have been maimed and wounded and injured. And these numbers, of course, do not include the bodies that still remain trapped under all that rubble that you see in the video on this screen right now. This is Gaza. That is what you're looking at. But the people who lived in those homes, those structures, the people who relied on those hospitals to get better, to get treatment, those people, not victims. Those people are not victims at all. Living in absolute hell right now in the middle of winter, no shelter, dying of the cold, children dying of cold at this point. So 449 Palestinians, by the way, have been killed since the fake ceasefire was signed in October of last year. Now, Mike Huckabee, who has made a point to publicly prioritize Israel above all else, and I'm not even exaggerating about that, spoke to Piers Morgan and claimed that anyone in Trump's base, anyone who considers themselves MAGA, who happens to be against regime change war in Iran on behalf of Israel, of course, just isn't the real deal, isn't American enough for him.
I think what we say is, look, America first, absolutely. But that doesn't mean America only. We're not isolationists. We live in a real world. President Trump has not engaged us, got us into long-lasting wars that last for 15 or 20 years. My gosh, it was less than an hour that the B-2 bombers went over Iran, bombed the ever-loving daylights out of Fordow and the nuclear sites. There were people who think they're MAGA, they're not, they're posers. And they said, Donald Trump will get us into a 20-year war. 20,000 Americans will be killed, will have boots on the ground. They look really stupid right now.
Now, there you have Mike Huckabee talking about how, the Trump administration hit it and quit it. They went in, they bombed the nuclear sites, and they were done. So all those dumb dissidents and anti-war types who thought we were going to get dragged into a war with Iran, they're so silly. Meanwhile, today, the US is moving military assets toward Iran. The Iran airspace has been cleared, and it's pretty clear to me that the US is planning to do something. Now, is it just going to be more airstrikes? Possibly. But in order to take a regime out, you very likely do need boots on the ground. And so the real question is, how far is the United States willing to go to ensure regime change in Iran? Which overwhelmingly, I mean, it could benefit the Iranian people if, the outcome of that toppling of the Iranian regime leads to them being able to make decisions about who governs them. But that's not what this is really about. And so we'll see how it plays out. But I just want you guys to remember, according to the US ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, all of those children that you saw slaughtered over the last 2 years, not victims. Real victims, the poor people in Israel. Well, specifically the people that he answers to. I mean, you look at Netanyahu, you see that guy as a victim. I see him as an opportunist who hasn't seen an uprising or unrest that he didn't want to take full advantage of and exploit, to the detriment of the very people who are engaging in the uprising in the first place.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.